Hey, what's up, guys? Tony here, and here we are, week 3 of the NFL season, and of course, week 3 of Scott McLean's career in Madden 13. And wow, last week was a good week for me. I went 10-6. I got a little worried there at the end, but you know what? That's just the way it goes, week in and week out. You can't go, 12-4 every week. But here we go in week 3. I think. I'll be honest, I think there are some really tough games this week, and they're going to be hard to call, and evidence of that is the Carolina Giants game. Here's my thought process. I thought that Cam Newton was going to come out after having like an okay week 1, week 2. I thought he was going to come out and just take the Carolina offense and run over the Giants. I mean, that's a little too strong. I don't mean run over, but I thought that he was going to put up a really good game. And considering, and now here's the here's the internal struggle that I had. I was looking on paper, and I was looking at the Giants. I was like, okay, the Giants had a great second half last week, and they finished strong. And Eli Manning put up like 500 yards after throwing 3 picks in the first half. So he turned the game around. He turned the entire game around, and he came back and he put team on back with with the Giants, and he walked away with a victory that week, and it was a fantastic game to watch. But I was looking at Carolina, much like we'll look at New Orleans. They're teams that have a lot of talent. They just, for whatever reason this year, they haven't really put it together yet. And I kind of thought, okay, well, this could be the week where Cam Newton puts it together and they win one. So I picked Carolina over the Giants, which was a mistake because on paper, I was looking at this game, I'm like, Giants. Clearly Giants. But because I've sort of been a pseudo Carolina Panthers fan since they came out in 95, I think it is now, I was pulling for them. I'm not I'm not like one of the, like, I'm a Chargers fan. I am a Chargers fan for sure. But the Panthers, since I was, in middle school when they came out, I was like, oh my God, the Panthers, yeah. It's kind of like the Diamondbacks. When the Diamondbacks first came out, I was kind of like, yeah, let's go Diamondbacks. Now I'm kind of like, fuck you Diamondbacks, I don't care. But the Panthers, they still sort of hold a place in my heart. I really was a big Carolina Panthers fan. I had this, I still have it, this Kerry Collins jersey, their first quarterback, Kerry Collins. And I still have that jersey. And I don't know, I just had a thing for the Panthers when I was a kid. So my gut was like, go with the Panthers, man. Cam Newton's going to come. He's going to play a great game. But my head was like, no, I think the Giants are a better team on paper. Plus, they played well last week. And, of course, I didn't listen to my brain, I sat there. It's funny because I didn't get a chance to watch the game because, for whatever reason, they're putting the Thursday night games on the NFL Network. And I don't have the NFL Network. And I think it's like if you have what is it called? Red Zone? I think it's called the Red Zone. Basically, it's like MLB.TV. And if you don't know what that is, it's pretty much all the games are shown simultaneously, and you can pick whatever game you want to, and I think you can watch them on your computer. The thing is, I thought, okay, that sucks. I don't like that. I don't like it when it's exclusive like that, especially when it's football. Every Sunday and Monday, football is shown, except for on Thursdays now. Thursdays is an exclusive thing that you can't watch until you watch highlights, and I don't like that. I just don't. It's just I don't want to. I don't have to subscribe for something. And this kind of goes into the secondary discussion that I want to have today about football, and then I'll get into my predictions for the week, which going by Thursday, they're not shaped to be. I'm 0-1. Well, before I start that, I wrote somewhere what my score was for the season so far, and I threw it away. Looks like I'm 19-13 right now, which is not good, but not bad. So, anyways, this week's Chargers game is blacked out, and this is not a uncommon thing in San Diego for the Chargers. The NFL has this rule where if you don't sell X amount of home tickets, then the game is blacked out in whatever region that you're in. So for Southern California, San Diego, I imagine up to Orange County and maybe in Los Angeles it's different. You know, I don't know how far the blackout goes north from San Diego, but the game's blacked out because the Chargers weren't able to sell X amount of tickets to the home game. I can't remember what percentage of the stadium has to be sold out, or close to a sellout, but there's a number. And in prior years, they would actually, the radio station that is the flagship radio station of the Chargers, Rock 105.3 here in San Diego, they would say, okay, we still need to sell, and a lot of other actually morning shows would be like, they still need to sell 500, 700, 1,500 tickets, or whatever the ticket count was that they needed to sell to get the blackout lifted. They would sell, and if they couldn't sell those tickets, what they would do is usually the Chargers would they'd donate those tickets. There was a way for the Chargers to go ahead and occupy those seats, excuse me, get the blackout lifted, so the game could be televised. And it's a weird policy. It's a weird archaic policy, because what it is what it amounts to is profit sharing, because whatever, say, the Chargers make from the home game as far as from ticket sales, they actually split with whatever team is the visiting team. So in this case, the Atlanta Falcons. So Atlanta Falcons gets X amount of dollars, percentage of the profits. You know, so there's this idea that the profit sharing could bring sort of an even keel to the league, so that there would be good competition week in and week out, and not, you know, teams like that have Yankee-style budgets where they can just spend a bazillion dollars and field great football teams and get the superstars. You know, they have to compete with the other teams in the league, which is a great idea. The problem is, though, is with the internet, with television audiences carrying so much like worth, you know, value because of commercials and the amount of money that is made through commercials and revenue through commercials. I'm not sure as far as like if there's profit sharing within like a televised broadcast, because each team's going to have their own broadcast, or they're going to be watching, say, like a Fox Sports broadcast, or maybe like, I guess maybe local CBS or Fox Sports or maybe ESPN. So I don't think the profit sharing goes that far. But the thing is, though, is that there's a level of profit sharing, and so the idea that their blackouts are sort of this archaic rule nowadays, because people are going to go to the game anyways, because, you know, people go to the game. And I've been to one Charger game that I can remember. I might have been to more when I was a kid, but I only remember going to one. And I was going to go to a preseason game a couple years back. $99. The tickets were $100 for Charger tickets, and they weren't even on the field. I mean, these things were way up in the nosebleeds. I was like, $100 for a nosebleed ticket? You've got to be out of your freaking mind. But that's the facts of the matter. They're expensive. It's expensive to go to a football game. And so, basically, like I said, it's just the whole blackout policy is so archaic, you know, and it's troubled San Diego for such a long time. You know, the public, we understand, we want to watch our team, we want to support the Chargers, and we've got a great fan base here. The problem is, though, is San Diego, for the most part, is this sort of it's like a fair weather sports town. You know, we love our teams when they're doing great, and then when they're not doing so good, they just kind of like, oh, there's that team that plays in the city, and we don't really pay attention to them. Well, it's kind of been changing the last few years because of the Chargers, at least with respect to the Chargers, you know, not the Padres. I bet you the Padres start going to the, you know, postseason 4, 5, 6, 7 years in a row, people would pay a lot more attention to them, and they wouldn't sort of be the black sheep of, you know, San Diego sports, you know. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like nobody watches them, but when you look at, you know, consistent ticket sales between the Chargers and the Padres, you know, obviously the Chargers are going to have more consistency because they've been a better team for longer than the Padres, who've been going through this up and down cycle of, you know, crests and troughs of good years, bad years. You know, it's a very weird cycle. So, anyways, for me, I think the blackout policy is just stupid, and I think it just needs to go because there's so much money to be made in revenues from commercials, from television, and it seems the way that we are sort of progressing today, and I really don't want to say progressing because some would argue that this is not a progression. It's more of like a regression as far as, you know, not being as outdoorsy due to technology, staying inside, you know, being by your computer. But that's just the way things are going. So with these subscription-based Red Zone, MLB.TV. I don't know if there's one for college football or not. But apparently I look like that kind of guy, and I should know. And so with these sort of subscriptions and with television, in radio, you think that, yeah, that was a bad pick on my part. But you think with stuff like that, the blackouts would go away. They would just go away, because they were introduced right when television was starting to be introduced in the NFL, which was, I think, in like the early 70s or something like that. I'd have to look it up exactly. I'm not sure when it exactly started, but anyways, that's sort of my discussion, my football discussion for the week. What do you guys think about the blackouts? And you know what? For you football fans out there, how many of you guys are affected by the blackouts? It's usually once a season at least for San Diego. It sucks. So there are ways to like go around and stream the game, and I got friends who do that, and I don't really bother. There's plenty of football on TV. Oh yeah, I want to listen or watch the Chargers play, but I could always listen to it on the radio, and maybe I'll do that and get some other sort of work done while I'm around the house tomorrow. So I want to get on to the week 3 predictions this week, because that right here is sitting right in front of me, and it's kind of burning a hole in my desk as it's staring at me. So let's go to the top. We got the Giants and the Panthers. I already told you I picked the Panthers, and I'll be honest, the part of me was just like, man, I should just tell them to pick the Giants. They'll never know. But honesty is, I picked the Panthers and I lost, so I'm 0-1 now for week 3. Damn it. Just now here we go. Atlanta and San Diego. I'm going to pick San Diego. I really am. From what I saw last week, it looks like the Chargers are coming together as a complete team as well. We got a good running game going on right now. I really hope that Jackie Battle continues to be our fullback, because that guy, he chewed up some serious yards. I believe that Ryan Matthews is coming back fully. He's been practicing this week. I really hope he comes back. I really hope we can get a running game jump-started, because I don't want to be a team that's one-dimensional. I don't want to have the Chargers be a passing team only, so they don't have to worry about the run. It's like, okay, we'll give up 50 yards for the team on running, but we don't want to give up 300, 400 yards in the air. So I want to see a balanced attack. Keep these guys off balance. Keep Phil Rivers from having to force throws, and rush plays and stuff like that. I want to see a nice balanced attack. So the hard part is that the Falcons, they got a good football team. But with every good football team, they're bound to have a bad game throughout the season. I'm kind of hoping that tomorrow, or today, if you're watching this, on Sunday, today, they have a bad game. And right there, you saw a booth review of my touchdown. It was funny because I ran out. I didn't even get close to the goal line. They called a touchdown. I was like, oh, okay. And they challenged it, of course. Oh, the booth review was like, touchdown. We gotta check out that touchdown. So going on, we got St. Louis and Chicago. The Bears, easy. The Bears. It's because it's the Rams. I mean, I don't know. And this is a weird thing. It's like, I could say that, on paper, the Bears should win. But you know what? The Rams might have a great game. And that's just the nature of football. It's like one of those frustrating things, The any given Sunday rule always applies when you start making predictions. And I mean, that goes to say, like last what was it last week? It was I think it was Miami and Oakland. Miami at Oakland, and you're like, okay, the Raiders, Tannehill, he's a rookie quarterback for the Dolphins. The Raiders have an established veteran football team. They should win, and they did not. And you're just like, what the fuck? Anyways, Buffalo and Cleveland. I'm gonna pick Buffalo. I just don't see the Browns doing anything. I think they got a rookie quarterback as well, and they just haven't really had a good football team in a long ass time. And I mean, we're going back to before the Ravens left Cleveland, and became the Ravens in Baltimore. So Tampa Bay at Dallas. This one actually was a tough game for me. I sort of like blindly looked away and circled Dallas. I think that Dallas has the tools to win. This is a game that I think I might get wrong. I'm going to say that right now. Tampa Bay looks pretty good. I'll be honest. They look really good. But I'm picking Dallas. I think that Dallas, after last week, is going to kind of pull their heads out of their asses and do what they can to beat the Buccaneers. Detroit and Tennessee. After Tennessee's performance last week, I'm going to pick Detroit. Jacksonville and Indianapolis. I am going to Indianapolis for sure. I think I think Luck showed that he could play in this level. He's good enough to play at this level. And Jacksonville is just kind of like in this sort of weird transitional period. I don't. It's like two young teams going at it. I just think that Indianapolis is going to take the game. The Jets in Miami. This was another kind of toughie because of the fact that like the Jets have shown this sort of inconsistency. You know, they can score 42 points and then they're going to go ahead and what did they do last week? They lost to Pittsburgh, which is a tough team to lose to. But you know, it's just like the more consistency is needed. And with Miami playing so well last week, it's kind of like okay, what's the you know? But I think an established football team like the Jets will be able to beat the Dolphins. Who knows? Maybe the game will end up like this game that you're watching right now. San Francisco and Minnesota. San Francisco, I mean, that kind of goes without saying. They got a great defense. They got a great offense. Minnesota has not great snowy weather, I think, is probably what they have out there. Kansas City and New Orleans. This game, I was telling your broker, it's Drew Brees. It's the Saints. Oh, my gosh. They have got all the tools in the world, and they can't seem to win a football game. They just can't seem to do it. Well, it's against Kansas City. You guys better win a football game this week. It's Kansas City, for Christ's sake. Get it done. Cincinnati at Washington. We're going to go Washington. I kind of expected RG3 to do a little repeat performance, and from what I understand, it was a really good football game. But they didn't win. They didn't beat the Rams. So we'll see. I mean, it's the Bengals. So, you know, again, it's like a great talent like RG3 should be able to muster up that moxie or whatever, you know, all those talents he has to take on the Bengals and beat the Bengals. But we got the Eagles at the Cardinals. I think the Eagles are a good team. I think the Cardinals are a team pretending to be a good team. I think tomorrow will kind of show that maybe they're not as good as their 2-0 record shows. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm hating on the Cardinals, on Arizona. But I think the Eagles, I might have said Eagles, but I think the Eagles are a good football team that hasn't been playing well. And it's the way it seems to work. We got Houston and Denver. I picked Denver. I'm hoping that Peyton Manning kind of bounces back from last week. Houston's a good football team though, so that's gonna be a really good game. Pittsburgh and Oakland. Pittsburgh all the way. I mean, Oakland, I don't think they could win a football game. We'll see. I don't know how long they're going to string Carson Palmer along before they yank him to put in, say, Leinart to shake it up, see what goes on. But Pittsburgh for sure. I almost said New Orleans. New England and Baltimore. I'm picking New England. But that's going to be a really good game. That game I really want to watch. That should be great. You got a great offense and a great defense going at each other. And actually a good offense on Baltimore's side too, because Flacco played really well last week. And apparently New England's got a great defense now too. So this is going to be a good, solid football game. I really want to watch that game. And last but not least, Green Bay at Seattle. I think kind of easy to say Green Bay, you know, Aaron Rodgers, discount, double check. You know, let's see that happen. I think it's a Monday night game too. It's like Seattle gets a Monday night game? I mean, did you remember when like Monday night games were like for the teams that were really good, you know, not just the teams that happen to show up on the schedule? It just seems like now they're throwing teams some bones. Like, oh, here's a Monday night game, Seattle. Enjoy it, and hopefully you guys put up some sort of a fight against the Packers. We'll see. So, anyways, guys, that's my predictions for the week. I think someone in the comment section said they enjoyed watching these to see what I got wrong. I was just like, got wrong, you know. How about to see what I got right? Maybe some of the ones I predicted are sort of like obvious, you know, not out of the blue, you know, going against the odds sort of predictions. But anyways, I found it kind of funny. So anyway, guys, I'm going to let the game finish out. There's only probably like 30 seconds so I'm left to it. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I'll talk to you guys later.
He's setting up here. He's been sacked 4 times already. What a beating it has been for the quarterback. Looking to the right side and throwing. Well, they got a big lead, and here they are in the red zone once again. And here